the reference angle. We observed that if theta 1 and theta sub 2 are coterminal angles, the value of the six circular or trigonometric functions at theta sub 1 agree with the values at theta sub 2. Therefore, in finding the value of a circular function at number theta, we can always reduce theta to a number between 0 and 2 pi. Okay, so let's have a review in our coterminal angle. The coterminal angle is explained already in the previous topic about angle measures. So please check it there if you've forgotten about that. But here, we remember if a certain angles are coterminals, example 2 pi over 3 with the values of this one, the x is negative 1 half and square root of 3 over 2. The coterminals, if we say coterminal 2 pi from 2 pi over 3, we add or we subtract 2 pi. Okay, so from 2 pi over 3, we add 2 pi. So that's 8 pi over 3, and another turn, we add another 2 pi, that's 14 pi over 3. So as we add 2 pi angles, so in angles, so that are always coterminal with a certain angle. So for the example here is 2 pi over 3 with the values negative 1 half and square root of 3 over 2. So the coterminal is 8 pi over 3 and 14 pi over 3 also share the same values of the coterminal or the original coterminal here, which is 2 pi over 3. You don't need to get all the values all the time. So it's important that we have identify the value in between the angle in 0 and 2 pi, because beyond that, beyond 2 pi, we can determine the coterminal from between 0 and 2 pi and get their values as well. So observe the figure below that sine 2 pi over 3 equals sine pi over 3. So if you observe that 2 pi over 3 has the same x and y, which is 1 half and square root of 3 over 2. Please disregard the symbol muna. Look up the values of x and y. They are the same. In our special angle here given, we could observe that in quadrant number 1, example, pi over 6, the square root of 3 over 2 and 1 half could also be located in quadrant number 2, square root of 3 over 2 and 1 half. Here in quadrant number 3, no, wrong, I encircled the wrong number. Okay, so quadrant number 3, so that's quadrant number 3 and quadrant number 4. So also pi over 4, the square root of 2 over 2 has corresponding also values in quadrant number 2, quadrant 3, and quadrant number 4, which is square root of 2 over 2 and square root of 2 over 2. And lastly, the square root, the pi over 3, the values is 1 half and square root of 3 over 2. We can see here also in quadrant number 3 and quadrant number 4. So it means that the angle here in quadrant number 2 and quadrant number 3 with their values, so whatever the values here in quadrant 2, 3, and 4, there is a corresponding values in quadrant number 1. So quadrant number 1 is actually the reference angle. So please disregard muna yung sign again. We will talk about that later. Now, so we should memorize the first quadrant. So in order for us to memorize this one, the first step is to identify the angle. So this pi over 6, pi over 4, and pi over 3, this is 30, 45, and 60 degrees respectively. So first, to memorize this one, the first step is every angle, ang ilang denominator is 2. Ang x and y are 2. Ay, sorry. 2, this is 2, then this is 2, this is 2. Next step, from here at the x, from the top to bottom, you add 1, you put 1, 2, and 3. And then here at y, you put 1 from the bottom to top. So 1, 2, 3. After that, you put radical sign for all the numerator. And that's it. You memorize it. Okay, so you can write this in your paper when you solve so that you are guided. Again, so this is square root of 1. Of course, that's also 1 over 2. Square root of 3 over 2. So square root of 3 over 2. Square root of 2 over 2. Square root of 2 over 2. And square root of 3 over 2. And of course, square root of 1 is 1. So 1.5. So these are so simple. And of course, if you memorize this one in a quadrant 1, and then you have memorized everything from quadrant 2 to quadrant 4 as well.